Now we're looking at the outside of the Hitch Hika Adelaide. The 19'6", which is obviously the number. We're going to start at the front, because you've got to start at the front when you unhook. Now all of our vans have a breakaway cord. The theory is that this pin will pull out if the van detaches from your car, and then the brakes will come on full lock, stop the van in the middle of the road. You'll more than likely use it if you don't apply your handbrake strong enough, which is why I like to pass it up through here. Because if the van starts rolling away, you will grab that, and then you go, hang on, I've got a brake, pull the cord. The wiring on them is fairly straightforward. Anderson plug charging your battery. The 12 pin, the little 7 is your normal running lights, indicators, tail lights, stuff like that. The big ones do different power feeds, which in these is running your fridge. And we'll talk about that more on the inside work. Your jockey wheel, take it off for travel. Never a good idea to leave it on there. Gas bottles. Any of our new vans always leave with full gas bottles with full water and full air in the tyres, so you can obviously go away straight away. You do have an outside tap. Try and get in the habit of turning that off when you hook up and unhook, just so that if it has rattled loose, you're not going to lose your water in the middle of the night and not know about it. Most of the hitchhikers have a front boot. The things to keep in the front boot, the stuff that you're not worried about getting a little bit moist and a little bit dusty. Because obviously when the boot's shut, it's copping all the weather off the bottom of your car as you're driving along. We always keep the jack in there because you need it somewhere. Your battery charger, and tucked up in here is your breakaway battery. So that little box is what feeds your breakaway battery, completely separate from your van, so it's a safety option. Your battery, of course, on a new van feeds everything as it can. Feeds your lights, your radio, your TV, your water pump, all the important stuff except for your air conditioner and anything else that's 240 volt like your microwave. There's no multiple switches, it just feeds in, away you go. The other things that we keep in the front boot will be wheel braces and awning hooks, stuff like that. We'll play with that as we go around. All of our vans, we label the keys so you know what they are. We'll leave the boot up now so we need to label. Hot water service, it's a stainless steel tank, so there's no anode to change like there used to be in the old days. You can physically take the panel off. There's a drain plug, so if you've been running some average water through your van, you can flush your whole system. Probably not a bad idea to do it once a year anyway, just so you know what you've got running through. Your 15 amp power cord, standard caravan park stuff, you'll need to get one of those. Your TV antenna, we've got it up at the moment, and on the inside we'll show you how to pack it down. Your radio antenna, they can be on different sides of the van depending on your layout, but they all operate the same way. Your water supply in, one filler for your water tanks. It'll fill both tanks and then drain both tanks evenly. There's no taps under there. The taps under there are to drain your tanks if you're doing an annual flushing. You've got a mains connection here for your hose, which if you know the water's okay at the caravan park, you just hook the hose up and you're using that pressure. The important thing to remember is if you hook the hose up, leave your pump off, which you'll have it off for travel. If you're going to use your tank water, you need to run your water pump. So it's an either or type of option. Down the back here, we've also got your water outlet. So any water coming out of your hand basins, your shower, your sink is going to come out of here. If you've got the grey tank option, it goes into your grey tank and then out of here, so you can catch all of your grey water. A lot of vans are coming with it these days. Whilst we're down here, that's your jacking point. The jack will locate into that, so you can change any of your tyres. Tyre pressure generally will put 50 psi in. And at handover, we normally go around and make a point of checking the wheel nuts, so you guys have to do it occasionally as well. Fridge vents, keep them clean. If you have a look up in here, you'll see that if you squirt water up in there, you get to the back of your fridge. But they're designed for rain, so squirt down. Use one of those brushes on there if you've got one. And look, the bugs do enjoy it in there, so it's a nice protected space, so get in there occasionally and give that a clean out. That's the gas exhaust for your fridge. If you're running on gas, that'll get reasonably warm. But you don't have to take any panel off like you had to in the old days. It's all self-done. Your toot. Now this is where the discussion always starts. Whose job is the toilet? I can tell you traditionally, but I'll get in trouble. Blue lever up, brings your cassette out. Unscrew that. Pushing the button releases pressure so you can tip it out and it doesn't clug at you. You do get a travel handle. so you can drag it through the park, make yourself look cool. That's what you need to do. The important things to remember with your toilet, use the chemicals to break everything down that's in there. It makes it a lot nicer coming out. If you're off emptying this, leave your door open. If somebody opens your toilet from the inside, they'll see daylight. And hopefully the message goes from the brain to the bum to stop that operation and wait for your toilet to come back. Make sure it slides in and locks in, because then everything lines up, you're not making a mess in there. To lock it, just spin the thing, and then you can't push that button. As we're going around, I'm putting all the keys in the bag so we don't forget any, and it's easy for you guys when you get them. Spares on the back, nice and easy to access. Around here on the dark side is your entertaining. So your drop down table, it's important to know it is only rated for 20 kilos. Perfect for hooking up TV, which is why you've got an antenna option there, and your 12-volt cigarette socket there, or putting your electric fry pan to cook up the bacon and eggs first thing in the morning. You've also got USB so you can charge your phones. Easy peasy. Make sure you put your table away for travel. The country cyclists don't really enjoy getting whacked on the back of the head by a table. Down the front here, because it's part of your entertaining side, we've got your gas outlet. Now that's a bayonet fitting, so it's like an old school light bulb. If you're just going to go buy a new barbecue for your van, tell them you need a bayonet hose instead of the normal gas bottle hose. Then you can hook up to that, and there's a tap under there. If you're not using it, you can isolate it off. You've got stabiliser legs on all four corners. Just take the weight, pull the handle, drop it down. The bar that's in the front boot will lock onto this nut to tension it up or loosen it off. Now I'm trying to loosen that off because in an ideal world it'll be vertical. Lock it down, tension it up. It is there to stop your van rocking around in a breeze, or if you're having a party, it's not there to jack up a tyre. That's why you get a jack, and that's why the jacking point's located down there. Make sure you put them up for travel. They are a replaceable item, and we do sell a lot of them because people forget. And now we're back here at the front of them. So your VIN plate details are up in the boot as well, so if you do need to check any of that stuff, you can. Now a lot of people wonder what that's for. They see it in their van and they've never ever used it. It's because they don't know how to do their awning properly. Awning is a very straightforward piece of kit, but it's what makes you look good when you get to a caravan park. You pull up, get roughly flat, awning, table, chairs, drinks, away you go. You already started your weekend away. You struggle with your awning, you'll get people coming over to help. And they really don't want to help. They just want to have a look at your flash in your van. Loosen off this thumb screw back here, just loose, not undone. And with the same hand, it's just a gentle squeeze together and slide that little latch out of the way. That's that end. You do exactly the same down this end, loosen and slide out the way. Now with your stick, reach up and push that lever. Little grey switch up there, which will be very obvious. Grab your strap, step back to the length of your stick. It's generally the length of your awning, so you can then stand there and pull it down. With your stick, drag your post up and it goes over this locking pin. Once it's up, do up your thumb screw. Stop it flapping around in the breeze. And it is a little bit breezy today, so we'll get this up as quick as possible. Now, the handle's got the locking pin in it. Different awnings have different systems, but it's the same process. Grab your handle, slide it out in the height you like, then lock it back in. If you're a little bit loose up there, that's when you loosen that off again, pull it down and tighten it up. You can stand your legs up. It's a matter of just pushing that lever. I'm not going to do it today, it's a bit breezy. Have some fun with it. Get used to the height you like. And after a couple of goes, you'll mark it with a texture so it's nice and even. Otherwise, you're counting spare holes here and telling the missus that you've got 2 and she's got 3 or 1 or whatever you're at. It's just easier if you've marked it. When it's time to pack it up, it's because it's windy, or it's going to be windy, or it's time to go, loosen that off. Bring it down, and with your thumb, push that lever. Try and push it, don't pull it from the underneath, and slide that arm out the way. If it's already breezy, one of you gets to just lean on that and look around the caravan park, while I get to come down this way. You're doing the same down here, loosen, push, slide. Now with your strap, Our old physics teacher will tell you to put it in the middle because that's the best spot. And he's right, but it's too hard. So was physics. Bring it in about 1 metre. Stand on it with your left foot. A little bit of tension. Nothing major. Then when I lean over, because my left foot's planted on the strap, there's no pressure on that switch. The awning's not going to jump up and startle me because I know where the strap is. If it's anywhere near your door and you've got a step there, you can climb up the step to help put it away. Latch it in, do it up. Leave that switch alone, it's still trying to wind up. Latch it in, do it up. You can still put a Velcro strap around it or a cat's collar if you like, fine. All you're doing is just peace of mind that it's not going anywhere. If you get your awning right, it makes you look cool, and you can't damage it because you pack it up when it's going to be breezy. Job done. Morning guys, here we are in a Hitch Hika Adelaide. I'm going to give you a bit of a virtual handover so that we can always remember what we're trying to do. The box I've got open up the top here is your control box. Generally speaking, this is where you'll start and finish in your van, so it's a good place to put your car keys when you get in. You've got your 240 volt isolator, which we'll play with later. If there's a power surge, stuff like that in the caravan park, it'll set it off. Your 12 volt fuses, you do get a map individual per van, so you know which fuse does which. Obviously, if something's not working, you'll work out which fuse it is. You do have a couple of spare spots, so if you put a fuse in one of the spare spots, you're never going to blow one because you've got a spare on board. Your solar controller, there's not much you need to do with that. The right hand button though will turn off all of your 12 volt power, so it's a storage option. It will let the sun keep your batteries charged, but it's a cheat's way of turning everything off. Further up on the left, we've got some water tank gauges, so it's just a matter of pushing the button. You can see how much water you got in your tanks. So we've got 3/4 in both tanks on this one. But then it's these 3 switches that are probably the important switches in the box, because you'll leave the rest alone. Your water pump switch. If you're going to use your tank water, turn the pump on. You want your pump to be on if you're going to use your tank water. You want your pump to be off, which is up, if you're going to have the hose connected. It doesn't enjoy having the pump on with the hose connected. So in this instance, we're going to turn the pump on, and it's a good idea to run your hot tap. What it'll do is it gets any air out of the lines, gets any coughing and spluttering out the way, so use it as an excuse to wash your hands. If you've hooked the hose up, pump off. Yes, I talk about that a lot, but still run the tap. Make sure there's no kinks in the hose and you've actually turned the tap on. Then you can choose either gas hot water or 240 volt hot water. At a caravan park, you'll probably use the electric because you're paying for your site. Free camping is when you'll use gas. You can use both at the same time. In an old school house, you've got a 200 litre water tank and your water pressure's give or take 10 litres a minute. In a caravan, it's about 25 litres of a hot water tank and the water pressure's about 5 litres a minute. So if you do the math, you're not standing in the shower for a long time. If you've got them both on, it'll catch up that heat a lot quicker while you're standing in the shower with a head full of shampoo and body scrub everywhere. We'll leave that on now because in about 10 minutes or so, we'll be able to show you that the water's hot. A bit hard on video, but we'll work something out there. Like I say, if you throw your car keys up in there, once you've run your hot water, your boot's shut and you're done. The next important feature in the Adelaide is the fridge. Most of them are coming with the automatic fridge, and there's a little symbol here that tells me that it's on. If I tap the button, it tells me that we're on maximum cold, automatic, and we're plugged in. The beauty of these fridges is if we lose power, so somebody on the outside world has kicked out our power cord, this will register that it's lost power in about 30 seconds and shift across to gas by itself. If you haven't opened your gas bottle, it's going to struggle. Now we just have a little bit of a pause in the video while we wait for that to jump across. It is nice and cold in there. I'm not sure if Mick can pick up the frost coming out already, but there you can see that it's already jumped across to gas. If you come in and realise your microwave's off, oh, I've got no power in my van, register your power. Yep, I've got power again. It'll come back from gas back to 240 volt power. If it's ever going to error, so if I try and light it up on battery, it comes up with a very obvious red panel. So most of the time if you leave it on automatic, you won't need to do anything unless you see the red. If you were to hook up a generator, you can force it to light on gas so that your generator's only feeding your air conditioner effectively. But 99% of the time, leave it on automatic so that your stuff in the fridge won't get hot if you lose power and you hook up your car, it'll jump to battery by itself. They're that clever that once it's been on battery, if you turn your car off and it's been wired up properly, it'll come up with a little petrol pump symbol to indicate that you're ideally at a service station and it's not going to light on gas for about 10 minutes. If you hook a power cord up, it'll jump straight to power anyway. When you're not using your fridge, so going into storage options, slide these little thingies out, hold your doors open. To physically turn your fridge on or off is just holding this button in. And now your fridge is turned off. Your fridge you don't have to worry about, it looks after itself, leave it on automatic. Your power control is pretty straightforward, remember your hot water. Now we're just going to work around the van so I don't miss any appliances. Your cooktop, the electric element, and the gas elements. Can't remember if I've opened your gas bottle. Probably haven't. No gas open. Pause there. Yeah, so when you're using your cooktop, you've got an electric element, so you've got to be plugged into 240 power or gas. It does have a self-igniter, so as long as your gas bottle's open, you'll light up. If the lid comes down, it'll shut your gas off. So if you're going to grill or bake, you've got to have the lid up because they are a gas appliance. Always check for heat before you shut the lid, because it may look like it's metal, actually glass. And if you're not, you've got a nice big bench top on top. You do have a range hood, so that when you're cooking, yes, you can use your range hood. On some Adelaides, the layout's the other way, but that's neither here nor there. Your radio, treat it like a radio. You'll have to retune it if you've lost power. You do have a CD option up the top. You've also got USB option in the side and other input if you're into all that stuff. Your telly, very straightforward. You've got your antenna, which when we do the outside, we'll leave it up so you can see it. Once it's up, you can pull this collar down to spin it around and fine tune to get a better picture. If you pull into a caravan park, have a look and see where everyone else's is pointing. Makes it a lot easier to tune your telly in. You do get the remote, of course, and it's worthwhile carrying spare batteries because it's very hard to tune your TV without the remote on. You will have to get used to it. At least it's got an auto tune function on this model. You can just pull up somewhere, hit auto tune, and it will catch you up with the footy or the tennis or the cricket or whatever you're trying to watch. It does run on 12 volt, so you can use it wherever you want to use it. We will take it off for travel and put it back in its box. That's up to you guys as a personal preference thing, but we certainly suggest that you take it off because they're not designed to swing around up there. Your windows, up and down. Very easy, very straightforward to use, nice and functional. To open your actual window, slide them all and then do up your twister. At least that way your window can stay wherever it is you want it to, and then you can still either shut your night blind or your fly screen. Make sure when you shut your window that you shut it. Go past the little air vent slots, and whether you travel with it open or closed is pretty much up to you. 240 power, you've got to be plugged in of course, but these ones, little USBs to charge your phones. So just remember they are a spin, whichever way you want to spin it, not a flick out or a big dial, it's just a cap. These lovely lights that we've got on scattered everywhere. First tap is just a blue light, so you don't kick the dog or whatever when you're getting out of bed, bit of mood lighting if you like. Hold it back in, you get your white light. Plenty of storage scattered around the place, your hanging cupboards, your bedroom cupboards, and don't forget your underbed storage. Plenty of space under there, which is where we'll put your TV back in its box. It's also your hot water service in the corner, so don't put things in that's going to slide into it and damage it, because you don't want to damage stuff like that. Easy peasy. Speakers up in the roof, smoke detector, you've got to have it by law. Your couch area, nice trifold table, away she goes. You can adjust the height of it just by spinning this around, so depending on where you want it to sit as a height option. Nice, easy to use. You've got storage underneath as well, don't forget about that. Your aircon, again it's a remote driven beast, but you can do anything from the screen as well. So if you have taken the batteries out of this, to plug into your TV, you can fire it up without the remote on. Nice easy option here just to shut some air down, dial it into the temperature you like, get used to your remote so you know where you're at. We've got it on 28 warm because young Michael here, he feels the cold. Your microwave, let's be honest, it is a microwave. Not recommended to travel with that in. It's big and it's heavy. We'll tuck that in on the couch so it's not going to go anywhere. Now, it's not often I invite people into the bathroom with me, but today's a different day. Your toot, open the lid, little lever at the front opens your cassette. That's when you do your business. The blue button is flush, so it'll flush as long as you hold that button down, and that comes out of your water supply, the flushing. When you're done, close it off. There is a little indicator panel down here that goes from green to red as it gets fuller. It's worth having a sneaky look just so you don't make a mess. Washing machine. Let's be honest, it is a washing machine. 240 volt only, so it's one of your limited appliances. And as a washing machine does, it uses a bit of water. Your shower. Nice big deep shower. And we recommend you travel with the plug-in. Stops anything coming up the pipe when you're not using it. Stops any flies and dust and stuff like that. And we also recommend taking your shower head off its cradle before you travel. Wrap it up in a sock or something like that, put it on the floor. If you do have a model with a grey tank and your grey tank fills up, that's where the water's coming first. So if you see water in your floor, you know you're full. You do have a roof hatch with an exhaust fan. If you pull up somewhere and it's super hot, use the fan to suckle the hot air out. Also keeps obviously the humidity out of your van. Slide that to lock it. You do have hockey straps to shut your door either in the open spot and one here for the shut. Not really a good idea to lock your door shut because if you trip over coming out the shower, you're in a very small room. Now if Mick can look up, we've got your roof hatch. Crack it open, push it up. Again, in the middle of summer, underutilised, you pull up somewhere, you've been driving for 4 hours in 40 degrees, crack it open, let the hot air out of your van. You can latch it open for just constant ventilation, or you can latch it just open with these for a little bit of air. For travel though, shut it all the way down. You do get a night screen and you do get your fly screen. If you drive with that over, it will sag over time. So if you're worried about the sun coming in, shut the other one. And you got more lights up in here, which for the life of me, oh there it is. So you got lights, 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 lights. And that's pretty much the inside. It's a very quick van to run around in because all the stuff you need's here, but it's all very laid out in a straightforward manner. Okay, now on all of our vans we give you a workshop report. What the workshop report tells us is what's in your van right now. So insurance purposes, everything in your van's in here. The other sheet we give you is the wiring diagram. Now these are very van specific and very brand specific. 1 to 7 is pretty much the industry standard. It has to be the same except for pin number 2. 8 to 12, different van makers will put power options into wherever they like. If you hooked up to another Hitch Hika, fine, everything will work. If you hooked up to a Concept or a Lotus, all your indicators and stop lights will work, but you may not run the fridge. So it's important to keep a copy of that. What we suggest you do with these documents is write a third one, all the things you're intending to put in your caravan. Because you're going to put a lot of stuff in here. Apples, iPads, laptops, camera gear, stuff like that. Send all 3 pages to your insurer. You're formally covering all the stuff in your van, and if you do it at the start, you're not going to miss anything. What we also suggest you put on your packing list is any number that's stamped on your keys. Because if you lose your door keys, you're stuffed. We've got to drill out a lock. If you can go back to a document that's got your key number on it, you can go back to Camec and they will cut you another key. And you can send those off to your insurer, so at least you've kept a copy. We also give you a check sheet, what to do when you get somewhere and what to do when you go. It's worth going through it because you might forget one day to do your legs and then you'll be having an argument with the missus forever about whose job it was. What to do when you get there, it's a bit shorter list because go through your startup box, you're already there, your fridge is looking after itself. Importantly, our number's on here. You can ring us when you get somewhere because you can't remember how to do something. we can help you out. We got more of a chance of helping you than old Cecil 3 sites down, who's got a 1970s caravan, so ring us. What you also get in all of our vans is this big blue bag that has in it an appliance book. Every appliance in your van has a book. It's worth reading through that stuff because you can then send off any warranty documents direct to the maker of your fridge, your microwave, your radio, stuff like that. Once you've played with all of that, put all of that in it and hide it under one of your couches so it stays in your van.